me a second. I want to. I know there's nobody in the room right now, but I need to. How do I flip this around? Here we go. I'm hooking up my light, so we get some decent light right here. You guys are in the room. Just hang tight. I'm running a little late. I'm gonna get my light going. What else do I need to do here? This room's a mess. Got too much going on all at once. Let's see if you can see that pretty good. We'll wait for some people to get into the room. We're going to do questions tonight about computer controls and electrical. Going to be giving away this snap-on wrench tonight to somebody. It's 11/16. It's actually a Blue Point, which is snap-on. And this is the artwork we're going to be... Hey, welcome to the live. We're going to be doing some trivia tonight, spinning for artwork, and at the end of the night, we're going to be giving away this wrench. If you would, as you come into the live, comment what kind of vehicle you drive. I'm just dragging my feet a little bit until we get a few people into the room. We'll be doing some trivia, automotive trivia questions. Those of you that have been here before, chime in and say hello or something so I know we're getting people into the room. We're going to be spinning. We'll be spinning this tonight for a chance to win some artwork. This is some drip art that I did. Yeah, but at the end of the night, at the end of the session of the questions, people that get the questions right are going to be entered into the drawing to win this snap-on wrench. So anyhow, Lindy Voot, 2012 Ford. So I got a 99 Ford F-150. I got a 92 Ford F-250 diesel. I got a 71 Chevy C20 pickup. Fusion. Hi, Marilyn Kempis, the barn girl. Hi. So we're getting a few people into the room now. I'll start explaining what we're going to do tonight. I'll flip this camera around so you can see my ugly mug. Hang with me. How's everybody doing? Good. So what we're gonna do, I'm a little late tonight. Had a busy day. I'm gonna sit down here in my fancy chair. I'm a little late tonight. We had a car show and a festival in our town today, so I got back a little late and just got done with dinner. Hi, Barn Girl, Marilyn. Cadillac SRX. Really? My girlfriend has one of those. Pretty nice. It's a pretty good car. I like it. I've done a few things. I did the headlights on it. That wasn't no fun. Anyway, so what we're gonna do tonight, the girls are here, garden party. Oh, that's why that's her, a garden party. I don't know why I don't notice that name when you put that. That's my girlfriend right there, garden party. Marilyn Caveas, I have a buggy. A buggy? What kind of buggy? Because that kind of sparks my interest because I'm looking at, I might go get a 1973 Volkswagen Beetle tomorrow. I'm thinking about doing a restore project on it. I've never worked on a Volkswagen before and always wanted to, so I stay still, I'm about to finish. I looked at a Volkswagen today on Marketplace, and I'm making a deal with the guy. I might go pick it up tomorrow. You should. They're amazing. Yeah, I think it'll be a good restore project for our channel. And it's perfect. It looks beat up. The motor, it doesn't run. It's got one headlight. The paint looks kind of rough. So I was thinking, and I've never done one, but I always wanted to work on a Volkswagen because they look pretty simple to work on, in my opinion. Just a basic frame, motor, and transaxle. But anyway, we're thinking about going to get that thing tomorrow with the trailer. We'll see. And I seen a 6-wheeler. I thought about picking that thing up, a 6-wheel amphibious vehicle. And I thought about doing that, but we'll see. Anyway, what's poppin'? LC Melon Maniac. Welcome to the channel. Salvatore Nora, can you do a live reaction or by Franco Staco? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Have you heard? Yeah, I heard about that guy before. Yeah. Di Bisa Bahasa on Indonesia. So are you from Indonesia? Are you coming to us from Indonesia tonight? What time is it in Indonesia right now? What time in Indonesia? We're thinking about taking a trip to the Philippines pretty soon. Yeah. Yes, I bet he does. Get a yellow buggy. This one's red. We can paint it whatever color we want. Hey, I appreciate you guys being in the live tonight. Let me know when you're tired of hearing me chat. We can get started with the questions. I thought about starting with a story. I like giving stories, automotive stories, because it's kind of interesting. Because I've been through a lot of that. He's an American. Refrain from cussing in your native languages. Also, yeah. Well, everybody, welcome to the live. So my situation is I've been an auto mechanic for 40 years. We run Go Big Garage. I hope I don't lose you guys because my charger does not look like it's doing so hot. Hang on a sec. For some reason, my phone today, if I lose you guys, it wasn't because I hung up on you. Let me try this other cord I got. For some reason, my phone's not charging right. Hang on. Hang on. So I'll tell you a story while I'm messing around with this thing. I try to tell stories about some of my things that I've done in my career as an auto mechanic that I always think are kind of interesting. So, Betsy, if you're watching me, this charger is not working right. Oh, this is the wrong one anyway. Give me 5 seconds. Don't leave the room. I got some good stuff coming. I got some really good stuff coming. Hang on. Give me 5 minutes. What's your name, Ling Ling? I need to get a charger in here. This charger's not working. Hang on just a second. Don't leave. Take me 2 minutes. Something's going on with this charger, man.
Right here.
It's almost
Here. Take this. Go. Right here. Go.
He's just a case.
Go.
Hang tight, guys. For some reason, I looked at my phone and I realized it wasn't charging, and I'll lose the whole live. Hang on. I know that's annoying when you're trying to do one of these things and some guy's messing around with his charger. Just taught me a lesson. I need to have a standby charger when I'm doing this for some reason. Yeah, something's not. I'm gonna lose everybody in the room. This stupid charger. It's a damn charger. Okay, hang tight. I think I got it. For some reason, my charger that I'm using decided it wasn't going to work. I got to plug it into the wall here. Okay. That's very annoying, isn't it? Yeah, It's just, I'm about to lose you guys. Okay, now we're charging. We're in business, baby. Had to do a little electrical diagnosis on the run. All right. So anyway, I thought I'd tell a little story today before we get started. I like telling stories about automotive stuff. It's kind of funny sometimes. And sometimes you learn a little bit of something. So I was working in a shop, and this guy comes in, and he kept bringing his truck in and saying it had no power. And so he'd bring it in, I'd go drive it, and it would be fine. I'd bring it back and say, it seems fine to me. And we'd go drive it, and he goes, yeah, it seems fine now. So he'd be gone for a week, and then he'd come back and say, and then finally he came in and said, every time I hook my trailer up to this thing, it has no power. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, bring the trailer, hook it up, bring the truck in, bring the truck in, and I'll check it out with the trailer hooked up. So we did that with the trailer hooked up, and sure enough, we're going down the road. Man, the thing had no power. You just step on it, it wouldn't even get out of its own way. And I'm like, it just felt like it had, like, running on 4 cylinders. How are you? Good. I'm trying to keep on top of what's going on in the chat too. You know what? If you want to talk biblical, go start your own life somewhere. This ain't what it's for. This is to learn automotive. And anyway, the guy comes in, and I said, hey, it definitely has a problem with the trailer hooked up. So I did a bunch of work on it, and I started messing with it, and I started messing with the timing, and I noticed that it was retarding the timing. Like, the timing would just go down to 0. Go big or go home, you bet. Thanks for that comment. Go big or go home. I love that. In the Bible, then it's true. Okay. Anyway, so I checked the timing, and the timing was all over the place. Every time that it would start missing, the timing would just act erratic. And so we fought this thing for a week, trying to figure out what the problem was. And it kept setting a light for the knock sensor. So what it ended up being, so on a vehicle, the early mid 80 vehicles, they had a knock sensor on them. It was mounted on the side of the block. And the way it worked is when it was called a piezoelectric sensor. So when it seen a hard vibration, it would send out a voltage. And it screws into the side of the block. This was hard to find. It screws into the side of the block. So what was happening is when he would hook the trailer up, the ball was loose, and it was banging on the ball back there. So when it would bang on that ball, the knock sensor thought the engine was knocking, and it would retard the timing back to like almost 0, so it wouldn't get out its own way. So the whole problem was the ball on the trailer was loose, and that's what was causing this drivability problem. I'll tell you another quick one, and we'll start on the questions and start spinning this wheel. So tonight what we're going to do, we're going to ask questions. When you get the questions right, you get to spin the wheel. If the needle lands on go big, there's only one that says go big on it, you're going to win this piece of artwork. Last week, we had a gal win a piece of artwork, and it's already, I sent it out to the mail to her. She should get it anytime. I'm surprised she's not in here tonight. Her name is, I think her code name is Scout. So anyway, she should be getting her artwork anytime. So this is drip art on canvas. So every time you get a question right, you get to spin for this. Once somebody wins this, there's no more bonus round. This is a bonus round. What happens is when you get a question right, you're the first one to get the question right. Your name goes down on a list, and it'll be between 1 and I think 1 and 12, and we got 12 spots on the wheel. So at the end of the night, once we're done here, when I spin this wheel, if your number comes up, you're gonna win this snap-on wrench. No cost to you. I'll ship it, but it's only within the United States. We're only shipping this to the US only. I can't afford to ship outside the United States. So anyway, if you was to win this and you are outside the US, you're welcome to keep the wrench, but you have to pay for the shipping. That's how that's gonna go. Okay, here we go. I went to a pretty cool car show today, seen some neat stuff, seen a really nice Bronco that was all set up. What's your favorite car? My favorite car? I guess it'll be the one that I got rid of, and I've always wanted to build one. I haven't built one. One of these days I'm going to do it. It was a 51 Chevy 3100 pickup with a straight 6 in it. Just a granny 4-speed, straight 6-cylinder, nothing fancy, just an old farmer 51 Chevy pickup. But I have a lot of favorites, you know, it goes from there. Okay, here we go. Let's start with, I just did these, I was kind of running late today. I'll ask you guys some questions too about what you think on this next project we're going to do. Where was the vehicle, the Yugo, produced? Where was it built? Where was the Yugo built? First correct answer gets to spin for a piece of artwork. There was a vehicle built in the 70s, 80s called a Yugo. Where was it built? Any guesses? Dum, da, da, da. Detroit. Nope. Was built outside the United States. Think about the name. The name gives it away. Yugoslavia, you're right. Now, no cheating and using Google, because there was a guy last week that cheated, and he was honest about it and said, I cheated. Okay, Yugoslavia. Total, you can tell my eyesight's not getting that great, huh? Okay, I got a name. Let me get your name on here. Give me a sec, I gotta get it organized. I'm just gonna put total. Okay, you won you get to spin the wheel, and I'll show you what it looks like so you understand. Let me flip this thing around. I'm gonna flip this like this. I'm gonna flip this down. You see where the wheel says go big? There's some other ones on here. Last week somebody thought they won, they didn't. So there's some other ones on here that are colored. But this one that says go big is the one that you'll win the artwork with. Okay, total, here we go. We're gonna spin the wheel and this is the bonus round, what I'm calling the bonus round. You're gonna spin for this piece of artwork. Okay, here we go. Let's see. That was close. But now you're on the board to win the wrench. So at the end of the night, if you're still here, we're gonna spin the wheel and you could win this snap-on wrench. What do you think of that? Not bad, huh? Not every day somebody gives you a snap-on wrench. Or tries to give you a snap-on wrench. So what do you, we're thinking about doing a rebuild video on the channel. I don't know if you guys went and looked at our video we did on the me destroying my battery charger with a sledgehammer. Go check it out. It's pretty, I think it's funny. I like to laugh at myself. So I think when I want to laugh, I just watch it. I've been so frustrated at that thing all over these years, so I bought a new Noco 10 battery charger. And actually, anybody that's on here is thinking about buying a stocking stuffer for dad or a son or somebody that's a gearhead, I'm getting another battery charger delivered tomorrow, and it's a 1 amp. And it's a trickle charger, and it's a charger and trickle charger that is it's better for like motorcycles, ATVs, and that kind of stuff that you're leaving in the garage all. Greetings from Ireland. Welcome, Ireland. Welcome to the live. If you know what's going on, or lady, yes, I know that garden party. You need this stuff too. So anyhow, this charger it's made by Noco, good quality. It's a 1 amp instead of a 10. But the thing is, the price is unbelievable. So you can get these Noco 1 amps for under 30 bucks. So if you're thinking about buying mom or dad a stocking stuffer, we'll put the link in the live after this is over. I'll drop it, and this video will be posted as a regular video too, but we'll put that on at the live. Okay, another question. What is the basic function of a radiator in an automobile? What is the basic function of a radiator in an automobile? Keep the engine at an operating temperature. That's close. That is, let's give a couple more answers. There's actually a dual answer there. We might have to spin this wheel trial. Cool the engine, yes. So we're gonna go with those. Joey the Roach, we're gonna let you spin. We're gonna put you on the board. And garden party, you're right. Cool the engine. So garden party. What do you mean that's okay? You might as well spin. You could smack me with that wrench if you win it. Joey. Okay, here we go, Joey. We're gonna spin for the artwork. And let's flip this around. We'll flip that way. Flip this to here. Here we go, Joey. You're spinning for the artwork, and then you're on the list to win the wrench. Oh, that was close. I thought you were gonna get it. Okay, Joey, you're on the. Hello, Kenny. Kenny. I hope I'm saying. How are you? I'm good. How are you? All right. So I'll tell you. Let's see. I'll tell you a radiator. I could tell you a radiator story. You want to hear a radiator story? When I was a kid, I had this old pickup, and I didn't have no money. And my uncle was a mechanic, and it had a little, and it works. Believe it, this works. I wouldn't try it on a new car, but it will work on an older car. So my uncle, I had a little pinhole in my radiator and was peeing out fluid out of the radiator. And I go, man, I got a hole in my radiator. And my uncle says, we can fix that. I'm like, I don't have no money to be buying a new radiator. He goes, go get me the pepper. I'm like, what? He's like, go get me the pepper. Really? He goes, yeah. So he opens up the radiator and he lets the pressure off, and then he starts it and lets it run. He puts like 2 tablespoons of pepper inside the radiator. I couldn't believe it. He put the cap back on there, and I sat there and watched it. Raw eggs work good too. Really? I didn't hear of that one before. And it went through there and it plugged that hole up and it stopped that leak. I couldn't believe it. I've heard of people using oatmeal too, but you gotta be careful. You'll plug that radiator up if you put the wrong stuff in there. The new radiators, I wouldn't even chance it. The passages are so small. But yeah, he fixed that. He fixed my radiator with a couple tablespoons of pepper. Okay, I'm showing my age now. Raw eggs. I have to remember that, raw eggs. I've never heard of that one. I'll tell you what I did do one time. I had a Toyota Camry, and we were out of town, and we were up in the hills away from everything, and it started overheating, and it was low on coolant. And I was like, dang, what am I gonna do? I didn't have a container. I didn't have anything. There was a 6-pack of beer in the back seat that was warm. It wasn't on ice or nothing. It was just sitting there in cans. And I said, give me that beer. So we pulled over, I dumped all 6 of those beers in that radiator, and we made it to the house. with that. Okay, next question. What does the camshaft do? What is the purpose of the camshaft? What is its job, the camshaft? So as the motor's turning, the camshaft's going around, those lobes are coming up and they're doing what? What are they lifting? Very good. You can tell Joey Roach knows a little bit about automotive. Yes, ma'am. Keep your valves in time. So Joey was the fastest at the answer to open and close the valves is a correct answer. So here we go, Joe. You get the spin again. And like I said, at the end of this, we're going to spin for a wrench. Good luck, buddy. Here we go. Close. Well, Joey's had a few chances now. I was trying to think of a story about a camshaft. A lot of people don't know this, but maybe Joey might know, is cams can get flat. Hey, Barbara, welcome to the live. We're just doing some trivia. If you get the answer correct, you get to spin for some artwork. And then at the end of the night, you get to spin for a snap-on wrench. I'm just going to tell you. Oh, flat camshaft. So camshafts can go flat. So they have a lobe on them, and they come up and they push on either the valve or the push rod, however it's set up. And the lobe can wear out and shorten. Roy, what is this? I'll tell you in just a second. And so what happens is they flatten out, and when you'll know you have a flat valve cam lobe is when you rev up the motor, you'll hear it backfiring through the intake. It'll go brow, brow, and that's usually a cam lobe that's went flat. Okay, Roy, we're doing trivia, automotive trivia. If you get the question right, you get to spin on a wheel to a chance to win this artwork. And then if you get on the board by an answered question correctly, at the end of the night, we're going to spin for this snap-on wrench. How cool is that? I don't think anybody's ever gave me a chance to win. I wish I had every dollar that I spent on the snap-on truck over the last 40 years. I could probably build a new house. I'm not exaggerating either. I'm not kidding. I spent so much money on that snap. Here's the problem with snap-on trucks. They come right to the shop, and you always get on there to see what they have. And then you'll always see something. Oh man, I'd like to have that. And then pretty soon you got $50,000, $60,000 in tools. Okay, next question. Here we go. There's a couple different types of rings that you put on a piston. What are they? What are the two types of rings you put on a piston? They're going to get harder. I've been trying to leave some room for your manpower. What are the two types of rings that go on the piston that go up and down? Oil ring and compression ring. Very good. Your quantum reality. So you got it. First right answer was your quantum reality. Quantum. I'm going to put you on. Okay, I'm going to number these real quick so I don't forget. Okay, you're right. Oil and compression ring. That's the right answer. They'll get harder. I'm going to do some computer control questions. I try to keep some of them kind of simple so everybody has a chance to answer. So anyway, let me ask you a question. Your quantum reality. Reality. That's what I say. What a minute, boss. I answered that question first. Okay, let me look. Oh, you're right, buddy. See what happens when you get old? Your eyesight gets to you. Yeah, these little phones. The reason I use the phone, just so you guys know, when you do the lives on the phone, it gets pushed out to the short feed. And if you do them, I have a big old huge screen and a nice camera I can use for this. But if I do it that way, it doesn't get posted to the live and you don't get enough traffic. Yeah, you're right, Joe. Sorry about that. Quantum Realty. Joey, you was the first one to answer correctly. So here we go, buddy. Joey's on board again. You can tell this guy knows his stuff, man. It'd be like me doing this. I thought these questions up in about 30 seconds because I was in a hurry. I went to a festival today and they had a car show. Close. All right. I'm glad you spoke up there, Joey. I was going to give your turn away to somebody else. That's not very nice, is it? Okay. Here we go. We'll get some harder ones here. Let's see how much Joey really knows now. Huh? Let's see, Joey. Let's see what you know, Joe. What is COP on a newer ignition system? What does COP stand for? What does COP stand for? No Googling. No Googling. God's watching you. What does COP stand for in a new style ignition system? Just so you guys know, I've been a mechanic for 40 years. I've worked my way up into management. I retired. I went back to work. Now I work part-time, part-year, and I build police cars for a living. Who would ever thought that? Joey pulls it off. Coil on plug. Very good. So if you didn't know, like the old ignition systems had one coil and they fired the coil in the distributor cap and the distributor cap distributed it out to all the cylinders, usually 8, however many cylinders there were. So now the newer vehicles actually have a coil that sits right on top of the spark plug and the computer controls the power and the ground for the coil to fire the coil. So that's a correct answer. Coil, you're having way too much fun, man. Well, I try to make it fun. You know, we try to make these lives where they're fun, you know. I do. And I have a lot of useless knowledge, so I might as well give it away. A lot of useless knowledge. Here we go, Joe. We're going to spin again. I don't know about this Joe guy. He might be like an automotive guru or something, man. That's good, though. Maybe we'll have him on one of our lives. Schroyer. I know who that is. I didn't realize you guys were in here. Joe, you just have bad luck, brother. I don't know what to tell you. You got all the answers, but we might have to put some more go big spots on there. I don't know. We'll see. Always need to have fun. Girls, they want to have fun. Don't make me start singing. Because I can sing. Do we have any luck with you? Okay. Okay, here we go. Next question. What is a TPMS? Sing for us. What is a TPMS? Do you know what a TPMS is? I do not. I do not. This is just natural behavior right here. If I started that, I'd be really, really goofy. You almost had it, but it's a different sensor. It's TPMS. Oh, we got Joey. Joey thought he had it, and Joey does not have it. TPMS. I'll wait for everybody. It's bedtime, Grandpa. I'll make you think, Grandpa. I'll give you one of those. Yeah. That's what the guys at the shop say until I say, yeah. Well, don't let fear stop you. Step up and be Superman. Ooh, you almost got it. Doko Mojo. Brain fog. Hello, how are you? Tire pressure. Well, I might give it to this Doko Mojo one. You got it pretty close. You're almost there. I'll have to make that slap and sound behind you. Hey, don't count us old guys out. You think we're old, but you know what? We're a lot tougher than you think we are. Hello, sir. Hey, Crunch, welcome to the live. There you go, Doko Mojo. Did you Google it? Be honest, Doko Mojo. Doc Mojo 1. I'm sorry, Doc Mojo 1. Did you Google it? Be honest. Because that's the correct answer. He Googled it. Doc Mojo 1, come on, are you gonna defend yourself, defend your honor, and say I did or didn't? Not everyone needs Google. He's saying no. Okay, I believe you if you say no. All right. I knew it the wild time. I knew it the wild time. Yeah, throttle. So I'll just talk about that for a second and we'll spin the wheel. When you put your name down here. Doc Mojo 1. So a throttle, or you got me saying it now. A tire pressure monitoring system is the little system that lights up on your dash when you get a low air tire. Crunch. Hang on, Crunch. Did you answer the question, Crunch? You have to get a correct answer. Am I missing something? Did Crunch answer it correctly? Did I miss something? So a throttle or a tire pressure monitoring system is the computer monitors the tire pressure. And hey again, hey Marilyn, how you doing? Welcome to live. Hey, a tire pressure monitoring system computer monitors all 4 tires, and when one tire falls below the average, it will turn on the light to let you know you have a low tire. What do I got for that? I'll tell you a story about the tire and then we'll go on to the next question. Who got the question right? Doc Mojo 1, right? Is that the right one? Who answered it correctly? Sorry. Okay, it was Doc Mojo 1. So we're gonna spin the wheel for you, brother. Here we go. We're spinning for artwork right now. If you land on Go Big, which is this one right here, if you land on that, you're gonna win some artwork. Oh, so close, but no cigar. But you're on the board now for to win the wrench. You Google. My tire pressure sensor stays on all the time, no matter how much air is in the tire. Okay, so here's what you got to do with that. Check all your air pressure and all your tires, including your spare, because some of the new vehicles, the spare is part of that. And if you check all the tires and make them the correct pressure, if you have them too high or too low, it'll do the same thing. It has to be the correct. It has to be the correct air. 074 edge. Okay, so what can happen is inside the tire, there's a battery in there on that sensor, and a lot of times those batteries go bad. But what you can do, they can reset it. There's a little tester. They can go around go to Les Schwab or anywhere like that, and just they go from one tire to the next, and they push it, and it'll honk the horn. They go next tire, honk the horn, and they just recalibrate them that way. And if they get one that won't honk the horn, chances are the battery where the sensor is at is went bad. So you can either have them tear the tire down and put a new sensor in it with a battery, but you can now get the batteries separate, and you have to take the sensor off it and put it back on. But the problem is those sensors are on the inside of the tire. So just so you know, you can get that repaired. It's no more than likely is a battery failure of the sensor on one of the tires. I'll tell you guys a trick. I'll tell you four-wheel drive guys a trick. A lot of guys that run big tires on the new four-wheel drives, new pickups and stuff, they'll always have that TPMS light on because they're running different pressures and they air them up and down all the time, so the light's always coming on, and you'll see them all the time with the light on. And here's a good trick for that. My air conditioning in my Toyota Corolla works when it wants to work. We'll talk about that here in a second. You go to the Les Schwab or wherever, have them tear down your tires, take the sensors out of all four tires, have them open up the spare, just put the sensors in the spare. They don't have to be mounted, just throw them inside the spare and have them air the tire up to the right spec. And what that does, the computer will just see the right amount of pressure all the time on all four, and it'll make that light go out. Okay, my air conditioning. Okay, we'll answer this question and we'll go on to the next question to spin for artwork. My air conditioning in my Toyota Corolla works when it wants to work. So tell me what you mean by the air conditioner doesn't work. Does it stop blowing air? Does it stop getting cold? What is it doing? Hunting, Iowa. Awesome information. Yeah, that's a neat little trick with the pickups. I had a friend of mine taught me that one. I was like, man, that's a great idea. You just take the sensors, take them all out of the tires, put them in the spare, air up the spare, and the light goes out. Works great. Glenn Boy, what's the issue with your air conditioning? Does it not get cold or does it just stop blowing? See my bald head? It's time for a haircut. So if you guys, I've been told this, I gotta say this because I get reprimanded by my girl because I don't say it. There's super thanks on here. If there's any information and you want to help me out, hit the super thanks. It's like buying me a cup of coffee. It's like $3 or something. You don't have to do it. I'm throwing it out there. When it's hot outside, my air conditioning won't work. It blows out hot air. When it's not so hot, my air conditioner blows out cold air. Free iron pipe gets very cold and sweaty. So when it's really hot, it's not blowing cold, huh? Is that your Maku cap or dad hat? Look, this is a hat. Everybody always thinks that it's like something from Hindu or something. It's a regular hat. You just can't see the bill because I wear my hat backwards. It's time for a new one. It's pretty dirty. I'm supposed to get some new ones. It's very cold sometimes it just blows out. So you're saying when it gets hot outside, so maybe the AC fan's not coming on. when it's really hot. It might work pretty well just basically without the fan running. So usually on air conditioning, there's an electric fan underneath the hood that when you turn the air on, the fan should come on. It could be low on Freon, but normally low Freon, it'll run warm all the time. Blows out hot air. A condenser can do that, can cause high head pressure, but normally what it does is it'll be pretty more constant. So there's some things to look at. One thing you might want to do is lift the hood up, get a water hose and clean the condenser. There's a little radiator in the front. It looks like a tiny little radiator, and clean that really good with water pressure and make sure it's not all plugged up with bugs and stuff. And then turn the AC to on, and then turn the AC to on and see if that fan on the outside comes on. It's pretty common failure if the fan stopped working. Yeah, I agree. I've seen that too. I've seen it on the big trucks to where we have some big trucks that have like a little, like this much space between, where we actually have to pull the radiators out because they'll be packed in there. Just so thick worth of just debris, leaves, and they'll start overheating the truck. And it's pretty amazing. So you know what works good for that is get you a piece of copper line and get one of those blow nozzles and put a piece of 3/8 copper on it, about 3 feet long, and then bend it right on the end where it has a little bend to it. Then you can get down below the radiator and you can blow that stuff out. Hey Glenn, you know what? Next week when we start the live, let's have a big discussion about your AC. Maybe we can figure it out. We can help you out. Because it sounds like fan works, AC compressor works, the pipe gets cold and sweats. Okay, so the compressor's coming on, the fan's coming on, and it is making cold air. It's making cold Freon. It's just not getting cold air on the inside. So okay, you've checked the Freon level. You've looked at it with a gauge, so you know it's steady at around 35 or 40 on the low side. Your low side should be somewhere around 35 or 40 psi on the low side. And then what's your high side? Is your high side going really high? Because that could be your problem. You got a high side temperature. There's one other thing I'm going to... Hey, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot, Doc Mojo. I appreciate that. So anyway, on the AC, here's something to think about. Once it's making cold air and it comes into the cab, there's another place where you can have issues. So what can happen is when it comes into the cab, so you're saying the airflow is normal, because that's a big deal. If the airflow changes, like it's blowing really hard and all of a sudden it starts slowing down and cooling down, you could be developing ice on the backside of the evaporator, and it's blocking off the fan's ability to push it through. The cooling fan comes on by the radiator. Okay, so there's another fan underneath the dash that blows the air through the vents. And so if it blows really hard and then all of a sudden it starts to get weak as you go and it starts to get warm, what can happen is the evaporator, if it gets too cold, it'll build a sheet of ice on the back side of it, and then the air can't get through there. That's one thing that can happen under the dash. And then the other thing that can happen is you can get like air leaks in the box. So the way the AC works is there's blend doors in there that blends the warm air with the cold air, so you can turn the AC up and down. So when you turn the AC from completely cold, it closes a door, it blocks off the heat. And then when you turn it up, like you don't want it as cold, it opens that door up and lets a little bit of the heat from the heater core in there. So that's how they regulate the air. Nothing wrong with that. that's how they regulate the air. So it can be an airbox issue where one of the blend doors is not closing all the way. So that's something. Crunch, I don't know anything about this. Let's see. Last year I was able to change my right rear wheel hub. I had to buy a wrench extender special. Oh man. It's rusted so bad the large nut that has to come off is rusted solid. We'll get back to the questions, guys, because I know everybody wants to spin the wheel too. Last year I was able, what are you teaching? Automotive, just basic automotive stuff. Crunch, just basic automotive stuff. Okay, so Hunting, Iowa, he's saying he's got a nut that's, but I have to do the other side, and it's rusted so bad the large nut that has to come off is rusted solid. I'm not sure what your situation is, but I can tell you a couple things that can help you with that. First, one thing you can do, I'm not sure what the situation is where it's at, is you can put some heat on it with a torch and get a hold of it with whatever you can. You can try a pair of vice grips, but the other thing you can do when you have a really messed up nut is take a file and get some nice metal there, get a new nut bigger than the one that's there, have a friend come over and tack weld it with the welder and weld that new nut on top of the old nut, and that gives you something to get a hold of. Put some penetrating oil, try some kind of penetrating oil on it and let it sit overnight, and then do what I said. Sometimes just a little heat with a little torch, but make sure you're not going to catch nothing on fire. You got to make sure you're not putting flame on something that's going to catch on fire. And then a little heat on a nut a lot of times will break it loose. And then there's some penetrating that I really like to use is called Tri-Flow. Works really well. And a third trick you can do with that is take the Tri-Flow, spray it in there, and get one of those like an engraver. Hold it right on the nut as you're spraying it. It'll work that into the threads a little bit and might pop it loose. Can you shout out the Chrome Boys podcast? Goblin Slayer. Absolutely. Shout out to the Chrome Boys podcast. You guys got a podcast? You got a link you can put up? I don't know if you can put up links on these lives. Hey, write it out, whatever it is, man. That's great. Chrome Boys podcast. Let me know if we can, maybe we can collaborate on a podcast about automotive sometime. So what's wrong with the door? It's not closing sometimes. I think that's what's wrong with the door. It's not closing sometimes. Okay. Yeah, so, okay, what kind of vehicle are we talking about here, Glenn Boy? Are you very rich? No, I'm not rich at all. That's why I'm doing this. I got to make money. Thanks for the help, sir, Glenn Boy. No problem. No problem at all. Glenn Boy, what kind of vehicle is this? Because I might be able to help you out if I knew more about what kind of vehicle you're working on. So the Fords are bad they have a blend door motor that they strip the gears in, and they have all kinds of issues with the door closing. And you just have to change the motor out. So back in the day, they used to have cables, and you pull the cable and it moves that door. Well, now they have electronic door motors that when you turn the knob, it tells a controller, hey, close the door, and then it runs the motor, and the motor turns and it closes the door. But what happens, those little motors, they got plastic gears in them and they strip out. So sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. So sometimes they'll work normally and sometimes they don't. Chevrolet has them and so does Ford, and they both have problems with them. It's called a blend door motor, and it's really common failure. You see, they get changed all the time in the shops. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna do, get back to me, Glenn, on what kind of vehicle. It might be helpful if I knew what kind of car we're working on. Go on to the next question. Where's my other question? Hang on. Okay, what is a MAF sensor? What is a MAF sensor? MAF, what does that stand for in a computer-controlled car? We'll find out who the wrenchers are here now. Let's see if, what is a MAF sensor? What is a MAF sensor? If nobody gets it, I'm going to give you the first part of it. What is a mass what sensor? MAF. Mass what? I know. Well, tell me what it is. Doc Mojo 1, what is it? You can spin again. What is mass airflow? Very good. Shane got it. Shane, you're on the board to win the wrench, brother. Shane. Can I win again? Yeah, you absolutely can. You can spin again for the artwork, but you're already on the board for the wrench. So, yeah, I think we should probably keep it to one person. Shane got it. Yeah, he did. Okay, Shane, you won. You got the answer, so you're going to get the spin for this strip art. And if you win it, I'm going to send it to you free of charge. It's canvas strip art. And then now your name goes down. So far we got 6 people on the wheel to win. Awesome, sweet. So right now we got 6 people on the wheel to win the wrench. And then at the end, you know, that's the thing. I got to figure out a way. I did it last time. I'll do it again today. I'll give out I have a email I don't use very often. So I'll use that, and you'll have to send your address to that email. Okay. What is the common rating for an alternator? How do you measure an alternator? What is the common power source rating for an alternator? What is it measured in? How many watt does the alternator put out? So when you're talking about alternators, what would it be rated at? What is the measurement we use for alternators to know? Amps, you got it right. J Lamb, amps, you're right. Amps, that's what they're measured at. There is voltage involved, but amps is how they're rated. You'll be surprised how high the amperage ratings are. When I first started working in automotive, amps was the correct answer. So J Lamb is on the board with amps. So you'll be a little surprised how high the amp rating is now on some of these new trucks and vehicles. When I first started in the trade, it was not uncommon for cars to have a 30 amp alternator. Some of the imports of Datsuns and stuff, they'd be rated at 30 amps. There's alternators now out there that are putting out over 200 amps. Try to buy one and you'll find out. They're expensive. The big trucks now, like 200, 250 amps. It's not uncommon now for to have over 200 amp alternator. Made it in the door. How are you? I'm good. I got started a little late today. Jay Lamb was with us last week, I believe, weren't you? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I was about 7 minutes late tonight. I went to a festival here in my town, so they had a car show, and we went to a couple of the. They had some like museums you could get into because they're all open now. And so we went and did that, and we did the vendor thing, and we did a little bit of walking around. It was a big event thing. They had a train that would take you all over town, and it was pretty cool. We had a good time. Yep, we went to. We just spent like 3 or 4 hours down there. Had some nice cars. I'm gonna be posting a video. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but I have another channel called. We have the Go Big channel, and then we have a channel for a traveling channel called Day Trippers. And no, it's not what you think. Day Trippers, like we do daytime trips, and we video all that, and we load videos for that. So if you want to check out the car show, you know what? Actually, I'll load the car show to the Go Big channel because it's cars. So we can do that. So but there was a pretty good car show. So I'll put all the video I have of the cars and the pictures of the cars, and I'll load it as the festival car show. Had a nice Saturday. Yeah, it was great. My girl got off early, and we spent she was wore out because she worked. She just got off work, and I said, "Come on, let's go. We're going." So, and then she had already worked a 7-hour day before we left. So she's had a long day. Yeah, we had a good time. Okay, so I don't want to get sidetracked. Jay Lamb, we're gonna spin the wheel. Good luck. I don't know. Did you see the artwork, Jay Lamb? This is the artwork today. Last week was a real bright purple one. This is the one for this. I actually took this one off my wall today, so you're very fortunate to be getting this one because I took it off my wall for my background that I use for my other channel. But I did these. These are some that I'll do some more because it seems like a nice gift to give people if they win. They're pretty nice. Okay, so there's the artwork. Jay Lamb, we're spinning. Here we go. Oh, wait a second. That didn't count. Something happened. My that didn't work. My impact gun was in the way. Hang on, here we go. Ah, so close. What do you guys think? You think I ought to put a couple more of those Go Bigs on there where it's easier to win? I thought it was kind of nice to make it kind of hard to win because then everybody sticks around. Okay, so I got you on the list, right? We got 7 people now on the list. What is the measurement? Trippy, Jay Lamb. If you're talking about the other channel, it's called Day Trippers. What is the measurement for wire size? What is the measurement for wire size? Oh, the artwork. Yeah. I like this kind of artwork. It's I did spin art. I got into spin art, and then I started doing this. This is what they call flow art. It's really easy to do, but it's pretty fun to do. You mix like 3 or 4 different colors, and then you pour it and you lift it up and just let it kind of flow. So it's kind of fun to do. Yeah. Gauge. Very good, Shane. You spelt it wrong, but we're going to let you go for it. Shane's already on the board. So here we go, Shane. We're going to spin. You're correct. Gauge. And let me teach you something about wire size while we're talking about it. That's kind of what I like doing when we're doing this. I like to teach a little bit as we're doing it. That's why I do the questions the way I do. So maybe somebody will learn something in the process of the live. So gauge is the correct answer. And when you're looking at wire gauge, which is the bigger wire? The bigger number or the smaller number? Dang, mic wasn't working. My mic wasn't working or your mic wasn't working? Mathematics. How you doing, buddy? Or woman? I shouldn't say that. How are you doing? I don't know if you're by the name. I'm not sure. Gauge. So, what is the? So if you say, give me a 6-gauge wire compared to a 4-gauge wire, which one's the bigger diameter, the 4 or the 6? It's kind of weird. It's actually backwards. The smaller the number, the bigger the diameter. So, a 10-gauge wire is, about this big around, and a 6-gauge wire is like that. So, that's kind of some useful information right there. So a lot of times when you're thinking wire gauge, the smaller the number, the bigger the round the wire gets, the smaller the number. 4. Okay, so this will be an easy one. So this will be something anybody can guess. So get ready to answer, because it's going to be a quick answer. I try to put some easy ones in there so people that don't have a lot of experience can still play along. How often should you change your oil? How many miles should you be changing your oil? There's a pretty common number we've used for years and years. It's changed a little bit recently, but for the most part, it's a pretty 5,000 miles. You're right. On the board, we will win. That's a good name for this. We will win. Got you on the board for the wrench. Hey, if you guys would, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We appreciate your subscriptions. We will win. Here we go. Hey, those that you guys that are leaving the room, you got to be here if you want to win the wrench. You got to be here to win the wrench, because I need to know your address. And we're almost to the end. So make sure we have enough people at the end to do that. We will win. We're going to spin the wheel. Here we go. We'll spin you around. If you land, we will win. If you land on that where it says go big, you're going to win some artwork. Here we go. Close. It was a good spin, but now you're on the board to win the wrench now. So if it lands on your number, old school 3K, yeah, I kind of recommend that. Doc Mojo 1, I say the same thing. The more you can afford, the sooner you can do it, the better, because this is the cheapest thing you can do for your vehicle. It's a lifeline of your engine is the oil. And when you don't change it, the standard is 5,000 miles for the automotive industry, and has been forever. But now they're moving them up. A lot of the new cars, they say don't change them until 7,500. But my opinion on that, why wait 2,500 miles? Because you're not saving that much money by waiting another couple thousand miles. You're taking the chance of hurting that motor. And motors are expensive to repair nowadays, so you don't want to do that for sure. I'll tell you a quick story, because I like adding stories in here as I go. People learn something. My boss come out and he says, hey, can you look at this guy? He keeps coming in saying he's got a power steering leak, and we've looked at it like 3 or 4 times, and it's low, but there's no fluid coming out. There's nothing on the motor. There's nothing on the ground. So he goes, this is about the 5th time he's been in here, and the fluid's low. But he says there's nothing on the driveway, and we've looked at it multiple times. Nobody can find anything wrong with it. Can you take a look at it? I said, yeah. That's why I put it up on the rack. I'm looking. I don't see anything wet. And all of a sudden I look and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm looking at the, so on the rack and pinions, they have a rubber boot around the rack and pinion between rack and pinion and the shaft, and there's a seal inside there. That boot was about the size of a football. It was this big around and just all pushed out like a balloon. And there was nothing leaking. It was holding it in there. I said, man, it's leaking. And your mic is fine. Okay. Thanks, J Lamb. So anyway, this thing just like was this big. It was full of power steering fluid where it had leaked through the rack and pinion. And so I took a scribe and I go stand back and I poked a hole in that thing, and that thing squirted fluid halfway across the shop. There was so much pressure in that, and it was the CV boot, not the CV boot on the outer end, but the boot around the rack and pinion between the rack and the shaft, and it leaked in there. Anyway, there you go. Another story. Some useless information right there. Yeah, the art is kind of trippy. I tell you what works good if you're going to do some of that. Do some black with silver. Black with silver looks freaking awesome. Oh, we will win. Let's see. Make sure I didn't forget anybody. We won. All right. So here's a product question. Anyone can, if somebody was here last week, they're going to know the answer to this, because I talked about this. What product can glue most materials? It's a two-part product, and it's called JB what? JB what? Every mechanic I know has a tube of this in his toolbox. I keep seeing the Weld. Shane, you got it, brother. JB Weld. I could tell you some great stories about JB Weld. Let me tell you. I'll make a quick one and we'll spin the wheel. Me and my uncle one time, we fixed a cracked block with that stuff in like a 58 Ford pickup. We had a crack that long on it. And we ground it out with a grinder and we filled it with JB Weld and it fixed it. Crazy. If you don't have that part of the show, oh, did you? Maybe I thought I talked about it. Maybe I didn't, but yeah, JB Weld is amazing. You should, even if you don't do automotive, you should have a tube of that. It comes in a two-part. You just put equal amounts, stir it up for like a minute or two, put it on whatever you're working on. It's probably the most versatile glue I've ever used. It's cheap, and man, it works really well. You know, like I said, I fixed a crack. I had a block with a 6-inch crack in it because I was young. I didn't know any better. I didn't put coolant in. I just filled it up with full of water. And we live here in California. It doesn't freeze very often. Well, it froze really hard, and it cracked that block. But we fixed it with JB Weld. Anyway, okay, Shane was on that one. We're up to 9. Next question. This is an emission control device. It's called an EGR. What does EGR stand for? What does EGR stand for? If you guys haven't already, subscribe so you can get our new videos that are coming out. We just posted a video yesterday, I think, about the No-Code Genesis battery charger. And I'm going to do a restore, I think, on a rusty old tool that I'm going to launch in a couple days. So we're doing a bunch of different types of videos right now. We actually had one video that we had about a vice grip, and we got 283,000 views on that one video. So you just never know. Shane, very good. Exhaust gas recirculation. No, you guys got it wrong. I read it wrong. Shane said exhaust gas regulator. Doc Mojo 1 said exhaust gas regulator. And Jay Lamb said exhaust gas recirculation, and that's the correct answer, Jay Lamb. Exhaust gas recirculation valve. And I'll tell you how. Do you guys get tired of me telling you how this stuff works, or would you just rather go on? Because I have a lot of useless knowledge. It's not useless knowledge. It's pretty good knowledge, but I like to do a little teaching as we go. And I was involved in the EGRs when they first came out. Nobody even know how to work on them, what they were or what they did. Like the stories. Okay, appreciate you saying that. That way I know. So the EGRs, when they first came out, no one really knew anything about them. They didn't know how to test them. They didn't know what they did. You know, they were just on there, and they were supposed to be on there because the state of California says they had to be on there. So what an exhaust gas recirculation valve does, it takes the gas, and it's a valve, and when it opens, it takes the exhaust that comes out the back of the car, like out of your muffler, and it recirculates it into the intake manifold. And what that does, it lowers the temperature of the combustion chamber. And that's where NOx comes from, or smog. Sunlight plus NOx creates smog that you can see in the air. So that's where how that all got started. Was they started making people put EGRs on their vehicles. But the problem was when they first put the EGRs on the vehicles, especially the Ford trucks, when they would come on, the truck would stumble so bad, you'd step on the gas and they'd go stumble real hard, and then they'd take off. And they did all kinds of weird stuff, and the engineers didn't care. All they cared about is it met what the emissions were supposed to be. So the Bureau of Automotive, or ARB, Air Resources Board, they had 3 rules. The valve had to open under its own vacuum. It had to move the pintle, and when it pintle moved, it had to deteriorate the idle. So what I did, I had a lot of customers that had old Ford pickups. So I called the part house and I said, send me every delay valve you have. So I had them send me like 20 delay valves. What delay valves are, they're like little timers for vacuum. You put vacuum on them, and it might be 1 second, a half a second, and it delays the vacuum from going through. So I found one by standard that was like 5 seconds. You put vacuum on there, nothing would come out for 5 seconds. But it meet the regulation of ARB that it did open. And it didn't say how long it had to take to open. It just said it had to open. And when you open the pintle, it had to deteriorate the idle. So I would put those delay valves on there because it would get rid of that stumble. And so that's what exhaust gas recirculation valve is all about. And now you see them on all the diesel pickups, and they have nothing but problems with the EGRs on the diesels. They get plugged up and they have to be cleaned, replaced. They're very expensive for the repair. It's a pain in the butt. Okay, let's see. So let's see. J Lamb, you're already on the list. So if you guys haven't subscribed, subscribe. Go check out the Go Big channel, Go Big Garage channel. I was telling the other people, I'm not sure who's, California thing. Does DEF cause trouble with EGR? Yes, it does. That's why you see so many people going away from the new diesels and trying to rebuild these old diesels that don't have EGRs on them. I got one in the driveway right now, 92. I'll tell you what, if you're looking for a pickup to build, I'm not kidding you. I'm not giving you bad advice when I tell you this. If you're thinking about building you a pickup, try to find an older Ford pickup with a 7.3 in it. There's no better motor built. They will go 1,000,000 miles. I'm not exaggerating when I say 1,000,000 miles. They will go 1,000,000 miles. Smash twice for the like. Thanks, Jay Lamb. I appreciate you guys doing all that. It helps out the channel, and I'm gonna keep doing this. And I've got a few super thanks here and there. And what we're gonna do with those, we're gonna use those to buy other tools to give away. So that's what we're gonna do with that stuff. So we're kind of out of questions. I can come up with a few more questions you guys want to do. Bogota, Colombia. Really? Bogota? I just got back from Dominica Republic about 3 or 4 weeks ago. No, the inline 6, great motor. Very good motor. Yeah, you can't even hardly kill that motor. That's a great motor too. But that's 7.3 diesel. It will go a million miles. I got one right now. I'm gonna restore. It's gonna be on the channel. We're gonna put some videos on the restore of that 7.3. But I'm thinking about. I don't know if everybody was here when I was talking about it, but I'm thinking about tomorrow going up and picking up a 73 Volkswagen Beetle with my trailer to make it like a restore project for the channel, where we're gonna bring it back from its death doors back to being functional and on the road. So what do you guys think about that? The Volkswagen, is that something you think that people would be interested in watching? I've never worked on Volkswagens. I've been more of a GM Ford guy, but I always kind of like to work on one. They look pretty simple to work on. They got a pretty basic motor and transaxle and axles. They look pretty easy to be worked on. So let me do a couple quick, if you guys just give me a second, I'll do about 3 more questions. And then we'll spin for the wrench. How's that sound? Give me just a second. There's one. There's 2. Give me just a second and we'll finish this up. Let's do okay, we got 3. That's when you know you've been working on cars too long and you come up with this stuff right on top of your head like that. Okay, man, it's hard to see on people right here. It looks like 7. What color? It's red. Well, it looks primer red. It looks pretty rough, which I kind of like it that it's rough looking, and I got a good deal on it. And the motor is intact. He doesn't know if the motor runs, but it's 100% there. It's missing one headlight. It's reddish color. It looks like primer red. It's got a few dents here and there, but everything's there. The glass is intact. The motor and transaxle's there. The tires are on it, but flat. So I thought it'd be fun to go down there and get the trailer and do hey, I'm gonna bring this old bug back. It's almost 50 years old. It's a 73 now. So it's getting up there in age. I thought about was taking that bug motor out and putting a Harley motor in the back. I thought that'd be cool. Because they're about the same horsepower. Very cool, got it. Yeah, I was thinking about, doing an Evolution Harley motor and do an adapter plate and mount a Harley motor in the back of that old, because then it would sound like a Harley, but it would run like same horsepower that the Volkswagen has. So it'd be pretty cool. Okay, here we go. I hope I got the name of this right. I think I do. I might have to Google this one. Chevy built a 3-cylinder motor. What vehicle came with a 3-cylinder motor made by Chevrolet? 3 cylinders. Man, it was gutless. You turn on the air conditioner, it was like you had to get outside and run. You're right, it was a Geo. Yep. Doc Mojo 1, Geo. Doc Mojo 1 beat you to it, Shane. Yeah, so those things they had a horrible idle. They just shook all the time because they were so out of balance because of that 3-cylinder motor. And then, like, if you went up a hill in them and you turn on the air conditioner, you couldn't even hardly get up the hill. They were horrible. Okay, Doc Mojo, we're gonna spin again for the artwork. We're gonna do 2 more questions, and then we're gonna spin for the wrench. I appreciate you guys all being here tonight, and if If you would take some time to go look at some of our videos that we have posted. Come on, is anybody gonna win that artwork tonight? Oh, we may have artwork for next week. Okay, here we go. Hey, did they answer before the question? I don't think so. It's Suzuki, possibly. Actually, I think that the Geo had a Suzuki motor in it. I have to do some research. It's been a while. Yeah, and then I think the Chevy made another one called the Sprint, I believe, that had a 3-cylinder motor in it. But it could have been, I'm thinking Suzuki. I don't know if Suzuki did. I know that Suzuki made some really small motors. My buddy bought a Suzuki, I think it was an early Samurai, the Sidekick. That might have been it. They made a Samurai that was so small of engine displacement, it didn't have to be small. It was under 50 cubic inches. My buddy had one, and he could put it in the back of a 3/4 ton Chevy pickup and close the tailgate. It was the coolest little thing I ever seen. Anyway, all right. All right, we'll go on to the next question, which was, this will be a good one. So in a point ignition system, does the coil fire when the points close or when the points open? On a point ignition system, when does the coil fire? You're right, Shane, open. Shane got it with open. So Shane's gonna spin, I'll make sure I don't forget who I'm doing this with, Shane. I'll tell you why that is so you kind of understand it. So the way a coil works is there's 2 sets of windings. There's a primary and then there's a secondary. And how it fires that coil is the primary gets built up and it builds a magnetic field. And so when you open the points, it de-energizes that magnetic field and it collapses. And when the magnetic field collapses, it energizes that secondary winding, and that's where the spark comes from. So when you close the points, it's building the magnetism, and when you open them, it collapses that magnetism. So when it closes, it's just giving power to that primary winding. So the power is going through the winding to ground, because that's where the points are, right? So when you open them, so the power comes in on this one, right? And when you close it, the power comes in, and it comes through the other contact, and it goes to ground. And then when you open it, that's when the coil fires. So if you ever want to test a coil in a point car, just get the points closed, right? Take the cap off. Every time you open those, it should fire that coil. So you can just look at the coil with the wire and just go snap, snap, snap. Every time you open those points, it should fire that coil. There you go. You learned something tonight. Okay, so this will be an AC question. Oh, we got to spin. See, I almost forgot, Shane. See what happens when you get old? You forget it. Shane is spinning for the artwork. Here we go. You guys like my wheel? It's pretty generic. I need to make a nice one. Nada. I think next time what I'll do is put about 4 or 5 of those different colored ones on the wheel so everyone has a better chance to win. But what we're going to do one more question. If nobody ends the artwork, we're gonna go on to the wrench. And somebody's gonna win the wrench no matter what. We're gonna keep spinning until it lands on somebody's number, okay? So here we go. In an air conditioning system, what is the small radiator that's part of the air conditioning that's under the dash? What is that called? What is the low side air conditioning radiator where the air flows through to get the air cold? What do they call that? Heater coil, no. So it's on the low side, so the compressor comes on, this little radiator, it looks like a radiator, and it gets cold, and the fan blows through that to make the air cold. What is that little radiator called? Condenser, close. The condenser is up front under the hood. Google. Google MMA fighter. Cam's that. I'm gonna write that down. Maybe I'll do a MM fire for you guys. Cam's that. Maybe I am an MM fire. You never know. The vacuum, clean. No. No one knows the answer. I stumped you guys finally. What is that part called in the dash for the air conditioning system that the air flows through to make the air cold? It looks like a radiator. It's got this thick. It's got two big lines that come off of it. Most people don't even know it's under there, so don't feel bad. We'll do one. If you guys don't get this, we'll do another question. Evaporator coil. It's not. We'll give you the question there, Doc Mojo, but it's not a coil. It's actually just the evaporator. So that's what it's called, evaporator. And that's what I was telling the other guy earlier about his AC system. What can happen, the evaporator is about this thick and it looks like a radiator. If Freon gets it cold and it drops down into like the 30-degree range. And what can happen is if there's some low side pressure switches that if the AC gets too low, it kicks that compressor off. That's why you'll hear those compressors working and then they'll kick out, and then they'll work and then they'll kick out. And what they're doing, if you keep a compressor engaged long enough, it'll go down into like 15 degrees. And what that does, it causes ice. So what happens is when the low pressure switch stops working correctly, and that's its job, is to disconnect the compressor below about 30 psi, ice builds up on the backside of that evaporator. And then the air can't get through there, and all of a sudden you have no air coming out of the vents because you got a sheet of ice across it. So that's what it's called, evaporator coil. So Doc Mojo 1, we're gonna do this last spin, and then I got you guys down as 1 through number 8. So we're gonna spin this wheel until it lands on either 1 through 8. Here, I'll show you right here so you don't think I'm trying to blow smoke. So those are the people that are on the board. So Doc Mojo 1, here we go. We're gonna spin for the artwork. Here we go. Man, that thing landed on, let's spin it one more time. For some reason, this thing is landing. I'm gonna put some tension on this. Because this thing has like a, like last week we had an issue, it kept landing on the same thing. So I put some pressure on the wheel to make it a little different. I'll put some more pressure on it. Let's see if that's gonna work. Okay, we're gonna give you one more shot at it, Doc Mojo. That thing lands on 16 again. I don't know what I'll do. Okay, so I feel better now. All right, no artwork tonight. Sorry, guys. we're gonna do this I'm gonna switch it to Friday nights. Does Friday nights seem like it works for you guys, or do you think that'll be a good night to do it? Friday nights is a better night because my girl works early in the morning Saturday, so Friday nights kind of works better for me to do that. Okay, here we go. And we can sit and shoot the bull about anything you want after. If everybody's done, we can end the live, whatever you guys want to do. Okay, here we go. We're gonna spin for this wrench. We had a lady, just to let you guys know, that won this wrench last week. And she was nice enough to say, you know what, let's just keep it for next week. She didn't want to take it. So she gave up her right to this wrench so you guys could have a chance to win this. Her name is Scout. She comes here in the lives. So if you see her next week during the live, give her a hey, thank you, because she gave this up. I did give her some artwork though, because I felt like word for me. So here we go. I want to make sure I don't want to make sure I didn't leave anybody out. So I got right now I got Garden Party, Total something. I can't remember the other part. Joey, Quantum, Doc Mojo 1, Shane, J Lamb, and We Will Win on the list. Does anybody have any discrepancy with that? What is it used for? Cap Treasure. What is it used for? What, the wrench? What is the wrench work used for? It's just a basic 11/16 snap-on wrench. It's about a $40 wrench. Everybody's good with the names? Because we're going to spin. Friday works for me. Good deal. Okay, we'll switch it to Friday. That works better for me, for sure. And you guys are okay with doing the trivia, the automotive trivia? Cap Treasure, pretty cool. Okay, good deal. So we're gonna try to keep doing some educations at the same time that we're doing the lives. I like to try to teach. I've taught at every level from the very bottom up to a master technician's level. I'll be back next week, or for now, because we're going to spin for this wrench. So you got to be here to win the wrench. Don't go away, Doc Mojo. You might win this wrench. I'll be back, like, when will you be back? Okay. Yes, next week. Okay, good deal. And every Friday night, I don't know if it's going to be a snap-on wrench every Friday night. Yeah, next week. Thanks. Appreciate that. We will, we're going to give some kind of tool away every week. I may end up going to like, this is a snap-on. So this is a Blue Point, and if you look up, this is a snap-on wrench. They mark them as Blue Point. That's their like, it's not their professional line. It's like a little bit, but they're good quality wrenches. They're just not shiny and chrome. They're the same wrench, they're just not chromed. But next week, I'm not sure what we're gonna give away. I got some ideas, but we'll see. I want to give you guys an opinion of mine about tools. I want to show you something just so you understand. Go start hitting up yard sales and these like pawn shops and stuff, because yeah, thanks Jay Lamb for doing that. I appreciate it, because it really helps the channel when we get people to get engaged and hit the like button and all that stuff. It really helps the channel, and it helps the algorithm to push out our live a little bit more. I appreciate you doing that. I need that one to complete my set. Jakey, the 11/16. I'm sorry to hear that. Somebody's gonna win this. Maybe you can make a deal with them. Maybe you can do some trading or something. So what I wanted to do, I want to tell you about how important it is to start getting out there and collecting tools. Tools are expensive, and you're going to start working on automotive stuff or thinking about you're going to need tools. Start hitting these yard sales and these pawn shops and stuff, because you can buy good quality tools. The tools that they sell now are junk. They're junk, man. They really are. And I'm going to show you something that you're going to be shocked at. I went to a yard sale about 3 months ago, and I seen this, and it was in a box. It wasn't even out on the table, and I seen the color, and I knew what it was. I was like, oh my gosh, look at that. So I pulled it out. Look at this. This is a Snap-on. Look it up. It's an IM 6100 half-inch drive impact gun. It had no air chuck on it. I couldn't test it. What do you think I paid for that? I bought this for $3. $3. The price of a coffee cup, I bought a half-inch impact gun. This gun, if I don't even know if you can buy it. They might still sell it. I'm not sure. Everybody's going to the composites. But you know what? I've had one of these. Oh, gas from Tenacious. I look like a lot of people because a lot of people say, you look like this guy and you look like that guy. I better watch it, man. I get thrown in jail for something I didn't do. Or maybe I did do it and maybe I should have went to jail a long time ago. I don't know. But anyway, I bought these guns. I've had one of these. And those older guns, the newer guns, they won't hit like this thing will. This thing's got a big old huge anvil in it. Welcome to learning, Garden Party. Member. Thanks for becoming a member. I was going to guess that. $3. Yeah, $3. And this thing works great. I put a chuck on it. I took it to work and I tried it and it works great. It hits hard. This is about a $500 impact gun. And I bought it for $3. And I bought a Mac 3/8 for $1. So it just goes to show you, man, get out there and get you some older tools. All the older tools, the older Craftsman stuff is good quality tools. You know, a lot of people poo-poo Craftsman, but Craftsman made good tools back in the day. Any of your tools that you pick up and they say made in USA on them, buy them. Because they're 3 times the quality of anything that you can buy in the part houses now. You go to Home Depot or you go to Harbor Freight or anywhere you go to buy tools, the tools are junk. They really are. I mean, there's certain things I will buy. Like I was lucky, man. My girlfriend bought me an aluminum 3-ton low profile racing jack today for my birthday. And I am so stoked, I can't wait to use that thing. I've had this big old heavy, and I got a bad back. I've been wrenching for 40 plus years. And would you hire an Indian guy? I really don't know what that means. Icon, yeah, Icon's decent. Icon, if I was gonna buy anything from Harbor Freight, I would buy Icon. Because their wrenches are pretty nice too. I bought Snap-ons over the year, Mac, because I always buy off the trucks. But I'll tell you something about Snap-on wrenches I like about them and what I dislike about them. What I like about Snap-on wrenches is they're really thin and you can get into some areas that another type of wrench won't let you get in there. Thank you for saying that, Lamb. It's not today, but it's coming like in 2 weeks. So she got me this. She got me what I asked for. I wanted a new jack because my other jack weighs like 100 pounds to move it around. It's killing me. So she bought me that aluminum jack, and man, I'm so stoked about it. But anyway, these Snap-on wrenches, I like and dislike the same thing about them. They're thin, so they're easy to get into places. But man, you start pulling on these wrenches 9 hours a day, these things hurt your hands. The thinness of the wrench, when you really got a reef on them, it's better to double them up when you get something really tight. Because I used to have to wrap, and I got pretty tough hands, but I used to have to wrap a wrench around them when I'm really pulling on them because they're so thin they hurt the bones in your hand. So anyway, but these are good quality wrenches, Snap-on wrenches, really good quality wrenches. And you know, a lot of the stuff, the older stuff is really good quality. You know, Craftsman, Channel Lock makes some really good product. Crescent wrench. You know, there's a lot of good older tool companies that make good wrenches. Okay, so I think it's time we're gonna spin for this wrench. So what I got is, I'm gonna give out your numbers. Marco's still in business. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that one, but I know I have some older tools, and I can't think right off the top of my head what they're called, but I have some older tools that are good quality tools that haven't been around for like 50 years. Some of the wrenches stuff. Matco. I don't know that Matco is, because I think it's only Mac and Snap-on now. Because I used to buy off the Matco truck. Yeah, it's just Mac and Snap-on, I think, is the only ones now. And now Snap-on, I'd say probably half of their products not made in the United States. Only a portion of their stuff is made in the United States now. A lot of it's being made overseas. So anyway, I'm going to read off the numbers and your name so you'll know if you win. And I just left them in the order I wrote them down. That way, because if we land on one side of the board, somebody's going to win. Okay. Garden Party is 1. 2 is total. I didn't write the whole thing down. Total something. So it lands on 2. We have to figure that one out. Joey is 3. Quantum 4. 5 is Doc Mojo 1. 6 is Shane. 7 is Jay Lamb. And 8 is We Will Win. So we're going to spin this until somebody wins. You ready? Drum roll, please. That's me trying to be funny. I'm actually funny. I laugh at myself. I laugh at myself all the time. Ask my girl. She hears me laughing. What are you laughing at? I'm just laughing at myself. Okay, here we go. We're going to spin this around. We got 16 people in the room. Good luck to all you guys that answered the correct questions tonight. So if we land 1 through 8, somebody's going to win this wrench right now. 1 through 8. Here we go. Good luck. I'm going to spin again. Woo-hoo-hoo. Now looky there, you could have won the artwork. Isn't that the chance? Let's spin it the other way. 14. We're just going to keep spinning until we have a winner. There's 7. Jay Lamb, you just won a Snap-on wrench, girl. Or guy, I'm not sure. Sorry if I called you the wrong thing. I can't tell by the names. Woohoo! We got us a winner. Jay Lamb is number 7. So just won yourself a Snap-on wrench. Pretty cool, huh? That's only going to happen at Go Big Garage. You don't see everybody else doing lives and giving away free wrenches, do you? You don't see Vice Grip Garage giving away free wrenches. No, he's giving away free trucks. Okay. So anyway, Jay Lamb, if you would, I'm going to give you my email address and write it down because it's kind of odd. So get ready. Are you ready? Girl, I thought so. I wasn't sure. Sometimes it's hard to tell with the names who you're dealing with. But good job. You got yourself a Snap-on wrench. 11/16, about a $40, $50 wrench. So you ready to write down my email address? And I don't use this address on everything, just once in a while. That's why I use it on here. Here we go. Here's my address to send me an email with your address on it so I can get this in the mail to you. J Lamb, it's Life, Life, over, Over, and then 50, not 50, F. Okay, wait 1 minute. Oh, you lost the wrench. You waited till. No, I'm just kidding. I got to figure out a better way to do this to get people's address. I really don't know how I should do that. You know, I should do like, I'm not sure how I should do that because I don't like blaring out emails on here. It's my email, so it's nothing to worry about. But it's a standard email that I don't use for anything but this kind of stuff. So there's nothing there. Jay Lamb, let me know when you're ready. So what's everybody into on the channel? You into hot rods? You into import cars? You into trucks, cars, motorcycles? What are you into? I'm into motorcycles a little bit. I just sold my Road King. And I just bought a 1983 Harley Davidson first year Evolution. Bike's amazing. I can't wait to use that thing. Ghost 1980 Jeeps. The YJ bodies. Okay, you ready? Okay, Life. Life. Over. Over. FIDTY at gmail.com. Write it out on the comment for me so I make sure you got it right. Scooters in General Auto, love Jeeps, JK, yeah. Those JK, it's crazy. Those JKs, you used to be able to pick those things up for like $800. And they were everywhere. And now they've become popular. You can't touch one for less than $4 or $5 grand. Everybody wants a fortune, but they make great four-wheel drives. Love Jeeps, scooters in general. Yeah, I got a couple Harleys. It's pretty bad when you guys start counting them. I had 3 for a while. Then I just sold my Road King. Mine's in the shop. What's in the shop? I got a 91 electric glide, and I'm gonna tear that whole thing down this year. My Jeep. What's going on with the Jeep? Picked up 2020 Street Glide. Really? Yeah, man, the prices on Harleys have went way down. I can't believe how cheap you can buy them now. I'm kind of old fuddy-duddy, man. I like non-computer controlled Harleys. The new Harleys are nice if you can afford to take them to the shop and have them do the work. But I like to do my own rear main. Yeah, that's a big job. Yep, that's a big job on that. You gotta pull the whole tranny, transfer case, everything. Yeah. Yeah, the new Harleys, man, my buddy has one, and you know, it's fine if you can afford to drop it off at the dealership and have them do all the maintenance on it, you know. A lot of stuff now, once you have a problem, if you don't have a scanner, you know, then you're not working on it. I got a 91 electric glide. It's got an Evolution motor on it, 80 cube inch Evolution motor, and that thing's got 120,000 on it now. And I wouldn't be afraid to ride it to New York and back tomorrow. You know, it's that dependable. So I have no reason to buy. But good for you that you got you a nice newer bike. I like the styling of them. I just don't like the way that you have to take them to the dealership every time. You got to have something done to them. It drives me crazy. You know, my buddy, we went on a big ride, and we went to Metropolis. It's one of the biggest hot springs in the United States. And we were there, and he had just got him a new Road King. And it had a fob on it, and I'd joke with him and he has plastic, you know, everything's plastic on it, and I was like, And my old electric light's all chromed out. It's got chrome rocker boxes and everything. And yeah, I was not a fan of the twin cam. No, the twin cams, they got a lot of problems. Tensioners go away. You got to go in and change them. No, the Evolution's the best motor that Harley ever built. But anyway, my buddy, we went to the Metropolis, and I was giving him shit about his Harley because it was all heated grips, and it had touch screen, and it had, all these creature features that they have now. And he had this fob that he started his bike with. And we was getting ready to go in. I said, so what the hell happens if you lose that fob? He goes, fuck, I don't know. I don't know if I get home. Oh, not supposed to say that. He goes, I don't know. And I said, well, my bike, man, if I lose the key, I just grab a piece of wire and I'll be down the road, So we went in, and they had lockers where you could put your stuff in. So I seen him hang his fob up in there. So I grabbed his fob out and I put it in my pocket when we was getting ready to go out. So we go out, we're getting all our gear on, putting our helmets on, our jackets, and getting the bikes ready. And I fire mine up, and I fire mine up, and he's still over there. He's like doing this. He's trying to find his key. And I go, hey, what are you doing? He goes, I can't find my key. And I go, well, what are you going to do? He goes, I don't know. And so I revved my bike up, and I turned a big circle, and I came back, and I threw him his key, and I said, I'll see you down the road. He goes, you sucker. Because I wanted to prove to him, what would you do if you lost that fob? Well, my old Harley, man, I can make it run with a piece of wire and a crescent wrench. All the way to New York, so you're going to deliver my new wrench? I wouldn't be afraid to ride to New York. I wouldn't be afraid to ride to New York. Hey, Jay Lamb, if I don't get your email tonight, for some reason, if you got the email incorrect, come back next week and say, hey, I didn't get my, because I'll send you an email back saying that I received your email, okay? So you know that I got it. Laugh out loud, dirty tricks, priceless. Yeah, I used to always give him crap. I said, and I know, I say to him, I said, what do you carry, some WD-40 so you can shine up those plastic rocker boxes? He's like, what are you talking about? I said, well, I have chrome on mine. I shine my chrome. What do you do with that plastic? Do you just I don't know, put some Windex on it or what? Any cool ghost stories? Ghost stories. I don't have any good ghost stories, I don't think. You should be. Yeah. Yeah, I've rode a lot. I've done a lot of riding. I got 2 Harleys right now. Very afraid. Very afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. Yeah, I'm not afraid at all. I did some bit of rides on the bike over the years. We used to ride to Montana, and we'd go to Arizona, and so we'd do some big rides, 4,000, 5,000 mile rides, something like that. Anyway, probably going to end the live right here tonight. I just want to tell everybody that thank you that came here tonight. I appreciate. I got a super like tonight, so I want to say thank you for that. And I hope everybody maybe learned something tonight. And if you would, come back, because we're gonna move it to Friday nights. So pass that along. Friday nights we're gonna be doing the lives, and we're gonna be giving away tools. I'll fire off an email once you're done here. Thanks so much. Absolutely. Thanks for being here. Congratulations on the wrench, and I'll get it in the mail as soon as I get your address. And then let me know when you receive it, so I know it got there okay. And anyone that just dropped in, we do trivia 7 p.m. on Friday. So for anyone that just dropped in, we're doing trivia, automotive trivia on Friday nights at 7. We're gonna be spinning the wheel for artwork. we didn't give away no artwork tonight because everybody had bad luck. It just happens. And then we at the end of the trivias, we're gonna give away some kind of a tool tonight. We gave away a snap-on wrench, and we'll figure out something. I thought about getting some of those little like Icon makes a neat little quarter drive set. So if we get enough people to do the super likes and we get a little bit of cash rolling, we'll get a couple of those Icon mini quarter-inch drive sets. They're pretty nice. And maybe we'll give one of those away. So anyway, if you guys would share the lives, you know, share the channel, Go Big Garage, and as I always say, go big or go home, baby. So the time will be West Coast time, whatever that is. I always get it mixed up. California time, 7 o'clock. 7 p.m. California time on Fridays, Friday nights. And if for some reason I'm not here on that night, I got a flat tire on the bike or something. Yep, 7 p.m. West Coast time. Thanks, Garden Party. All right, I'm glad everybody showed up. We appreciate it. We're here to like help you. We want to educate you as we go. So we're trying to do the best we can to bring you some good content. And I hope everybody had a great time tonight on the live. Thank you so much. Later.